So let's turn a little bit specific to the market right now, and we'll focus on a couple things. One, what are you telling people that are maybe asking, is this going to slow down? Do you think there'll be a pullback? I'm sure you're getting
market
asked that a
crash
lot.
2022.
Yeah, I mean, I think people know that there's not going to be a quote-unquote crash or don't feel that way. But what are you telling people right now as they're seeing this train leaving a station at a pretty quick rate?
I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. I think for a couple different reasons. Number one, new construction is so backlogged to the point that a lot of builders are actually taking their stuff off the market until they're caught up to put it back on. And I think that puts pressure back on the resale market because there's not...
People aren't selling out to move into new homes, and people moving here have to buy like a resale home.
They're not laying out they're not laying out their plans because they see, there's 8 homes being built out here, and okay, that'll close 8 months from now, so I need to start thinking about my home. Yeah,
and on top of that, I feel like I cannot be the only one who has had contacts from Ontario or other places where they are selling their entire investment portfolios over there and reinvesting it somewhere where they're getting a higher return on investment. It's growing quicker, and I think anyone coming into the market like that, they're used to this market, so they're not using the same conditions.
They're not using conditions.
Exactly.
They're using the same
That's why I
period. They're not
paused.
using any conditions.
An interesting article came out that it was released that 1 in 5 properties in Halifax, I don't know if it's Halifax or Nova Scotia, 1 in 5 was being bought by a quote-unquote investor. And that term isn't really well qualified, but it's presumably a multi-unit or not a primary residence. And, that's not an insignificant amount.
Well, that's a pretty serious number.
20% of the market, and
I'm sure if they revisited the number 2, the percentage of out-of-town buyers, because I know like last year, I think maybe 1.5% or something in Nova Scotia. I think it might be a little higher now, honestly. Like,
we were talking about like absentee outside of province investment buying with no connection here. I think some of that is going to be people who have bought a duplex and now are buying another duplex and maybe buying 6 unit. There's going to be an element of people buying more than one property, but people come in here with new money, new to province money is a big thing for sure.
And also, like, we've had the actual home buyers that are going to live in there as well that have said, well, I always had a plan to come back here, but now the market's starting to do what it did here, and I can't wait until I'm completely priced out of the market.
That's right. Buy it now, and I'm going to rent it for 3 years because I think we're going to move there when,
or physically make the move back because they're renting right there for some obnoxious amount.
Speaking with the rental market, some of these folks.
I've seen the comments in your the comments in your comments section.
What do you say to investors who are trying to navigate this new rental market here, where there's rent control, there's a freeze on evicting people for renovations? What are you hearing out there in the market, and what are you telling those investors?
Well, I think anyone who's buying an investment property shouldn't just be focused on the next 2 years anyways. So like that's probably not why you're buying an investment property. You're going to own it for a lot longer than that. So I think to focus on those is probably holding you back because our market's growing so much that you're going to end up paying more after that. So if you can't charge as much in rent, I don't think it's as big of an issue. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I mean, I do think the rent control is going to be here to stay, so people are going to have to understand that it's not going to be 2%, but it's going to be.
It's now the ice has been broken for a long enough time. It's staying.
It's going to stay for sure. I find it hard to be someone who's not here locally, boots on the ground with a management team, to take on a project right now.
Yeah, there's that. So
you guys are looking at much bigger projects than my clients are right now.
Yes and no. I mean, I have people ask about a duplex, and they're like, oh, well, the rents don't seem to be very good. It's like, yeah, about that.
It's a style. I think it's a style, though. There's the investment type, and I think to what you said, for investing, I think you're totally right. At the end of the day, if you want to lock down location and eventually get it to where it needs to be, you can do that.
And sometimes there are investors who aren't financing.
You
know what I mean? Like there's investors that maybe aren't financing their projects or are financing a lot less. So it's still
comfortable.
Yeah.
And most of them want the appreciation more than they want the cash flow anyway.
That's my point about the longevity in the market. It's like to hold yourself back from that, but then buy a more expensive investment 3 or 4 years down the road.
Yeah.
But against rent control,
you're hedging against inflation, and like you're saying, out-of-town buyers are often putting down 35-50% where they're from. So here, if they have to do that, it's not a big deal, and they're paying a lower price per door.
Right.
I think the biggest one that's being impacted, and I think a lot of the clients that we end up working with are doing it as an active business of almost flipping the rental properties.
True.
And for those buyers, it is extremely
That's
tough. And these
hard.
rules basically completely nuke your business model. And so I honestly now I'm basically telling all of them to play the waiting game. We're trying to be creative in what we can do. But I almost am at a loss for words with the most recent extension for rent evictions have been put on pause again indefinitely, and rent control has been on pause, basically extended indefinitely, effectively. And so I had a call with an investor from Toronto this morning, and I didn't really have much to say to him. I was like, honestly, that news release on Friday has taken out the wind of our sails. The only option at this point, if you're an investor trying to grow at some sort of pace, is to basically do what you're doing, which is to build new. And what
that's
you're starting
hard
to do.
to find.
But it's very tough to start with because buying land is often cash based, and then trying to find land that is approved or you can actually build on, or getting an approval can take years. So like it then delays everything quite a bit. So it's definitely a very changed market, and this is such again a new thing where the rules have just been extended and put in place within the last week. I'm still trying to figure out what the best way to handle these people are. But I think in general, the biggest thing that I've been saying is build new, build new, build new. And I think the general sentiment that I hear from all investors and developers, pretty much anywhere, same with Toronto, it's build new.
And this is why there is going to be that separation between brand new luxury construction
Yeah, and the old stuff.
And that's
unmaintained,
hard, yeah.
rundown. That's what we're going to create in this situation. But we've
That's a
ranted about
good
that
point.
a bunch of times.
Thanks for watching that clip from Master Keys Podcast. Check out that full episode here. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and share our podcast.
When I was broke, I had rich habits. When I was broke, I had rich habits.